Bonsoir tout le monde.
Good evening, everyone. It is 7 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. We need a motion to adopt the agenda. Moved by Councillor Hill, seconded by Councillor Como. All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried. Under 3, declaration of conflict of interest. Does anybody have a conflict with the items tonight? No? We go on to 4, presentations. There are none tonight. The adoption of the minutes, May 20th, 2026, regular council meeting. Any errors or omissions? If not, does anybody wish to move the adoption? Councillor Cooper and Councillor Como, all those in favor? Against? Motion carried. The 10th of June, 2026, the council in committee meeting. Anybody have any changes there? If not, we need a motion moved by Deputy Warden Pache, seconded by Councillor Como. All those in favor? Against? Motion carried. Business arising from previous meetings, nothing there. We are now at my report. On May 29th, I met the Minister of Fisheries, the Honourable Joanne Thompson, as well as our federal Deputy Chris D'Entremont, as well as representatives from Yarmouth and Argyll, who we discussed the dangers or the problems with the fishing industry and how it affected all the different industries and how it's important for our communities. On June the 3rd, I attended the ECM meeting in Alberta. Councillor Como was there with me. It was really well. On June 16th, I attended a meeting of the Rural Roads Committee. It was our first meeting in person to keep the discussion going until this summer. We will try to have answers to the committee. On June 17th, I met with the members of council for a public meeting with Stantec to look at the strategy of planning for the municipality. It was well received. There were a lot of people there, a lot of changes in the documents that had been revised, and the people in general were happy. On June the 20th, I attended the first flag raising for the Suriqua Acadian flag, and here there was a lot of smoke, and it was good. Nice to see the Métis of our region. On June the 22nd, I attended a meeting of the Highway 101 Task Force. Councillor Hill was there. It was the first since a while, but we are getting the ball rolling, and we'll have a report later at the meeting. So that is my report. Any questions or comments? No. Okay, that concludes that. We have the official presentations of members of council. Does anybody have any official presentation this evening? Councillor Cooper. Thank you. First, I would like to note that University St. Anne had the celebration of the college diplomas last night. It was a celebration that was at all their campuses across the province, and we had a look at the different programs, and everybody in the business who had the Louis Deveau Award, and this year it is somebody from our region here in Clare, the Alena Dance School, and I would like to congratulate them. Thank you. Does anybody else have any presentations, statement, or official statements? I have one here. One of my residents in District 8, who I'd like to take a moment to note and congratulate Phil Godet, a resident of Clare, who has a prestigious success at the Memphis in May World Barbecue Championship. He was in Memphis in the spring, and with his team, they won the first place in the category of chicken barbecue. And they also were among the best in the entire pork barbecue. So I think they did well, and they came back here with a lot of hardware awards. It went well. So if you agree, I think it would be nice to send him a certificate from the municipality to congratulate him. If you all agree, it's good. Thank you for that. So that's it for the presentations, official presentations. We are at item 9.1. Honorable John A. MacDonald, Minister of Municipal Affairs. Thank you. The letter is a bit long, but I will just read some excerpts. It will be part of our report.
Or administrative action undertaken by or on behalf of the government of the province that would have the effect of decreasing the revenue received by municipalities in Nova Scotia or increasing the required expenditures of municipalities in Nova Scotia. This letter is intended to provide notice on such changes for fiscal year 2027, 2028, and beyond. The first is the Department of Emergency Management. With the introduction of the Act to provide support to fire protection services, the department is providing 1 year notice that all municipalities, whether they oversee fire services or not, will be required to conduct a fire protection service review in order to ensure municipalities and fire service providers make evidence-based decisions about the services they provide to their community. Ensure that local firefighter competencies, training, and personal protective equipment meet the service standard required by the Fire Protective Service Review, and participate in a common records management system. The second section is the Department of Justice. The Nova Scotia Comprehensive Policing Review was released in June 2025. Since that time, the Department of Justice has met with all municipalities to discuss implementation of the 6 foundational changes and the expanded role of the Provincial Police Service. These foundational changes are designed to strengthen public safety across the province and support more effective, consistent, and sustainable outcomes. As part of the implementation, municipalities are required to meet established provincial policing standards. The province will continue to enhance and modernize its policing standards. The province will also procure a province-wide records management system in fiscal year 2026-2027. And lastly, the province will continue to work towards the development of a new municipal billing for provincial police services during fiscal year 2026-2027. The last 2 items in the letter include the Department of Public Works, some revised pricing there, as well as the Department of Service Nova Scotia, more specifically Nova Scotia's new FOIPOP Act, which will come into effect April 1st, 2027. So the letter is signed, yours truly, John A. MacDonald, Minister of Municipal Affairs.
Questions or comments on this letter? For the fire services for us, the report that we just concluded, will that count? There will still be a little bit, but it was an evaluation that we made last week. We are well placed, but we will still require a bit of work. So we are well advanced in this report. And it's the same thing for the training. There is a committee active that is working with our departments in the municipality of Clare to work with our volunteers. So we are going forward with these.
Questions or comments? 9.2, Stephanie Jody, Director of Finance for Tri-County Regional Center for Education.
$2026-2027 fiscal year is $211,455.32. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Sincerely, Tiffany Jodry, Director of Finance, Tri-County Regional Center for Education.
This is essentially just to bring to your attention a confirmation of our contribution to the education system. And since we had not had any confirmation before we received this letter, we had estimated what would be our contribution, looked in on the rate, and our budget for the next year is okay because it corresponds to what we have been advised in this letter. Are there questions or comments on this item? This brings up 9.2, Paul Como, correspondence for the Ribfest.
Now the days to our signature fundraising event, Yarmouth Rotary Ribfest. Ribfest is taking place June 26th, 27th, and 28th on the Western Nova Scotia Exhibition Grounds. Rotary Club members have worked hard to produce this annual event that brings together our communities with food, family, music, and fun. We cannot thank you all enough. You truly make this event happen and allow our club members to continue to put service above self in giving back to our community. We hope to see you at Ribfest so we can thank you in person. Thank you again for supporting the Rotary Club of Yarmouth as part of Southwestern Nova Scotia since 1922. Respectfully, Paul Como, Ribfest Co-Chair, Linda DeVoe, Ribfest Co-Chair, on behalf of all Rotary Club members. Et juste à titre de la...
And just as a reminder, this is one of the we put $2,500 to this Ribfest, and this is towards the Acadian Day, which is part of the Ribfest celebrations. Are there questions or comments on this one? It's coming fast. If you want to go and eat ribs this weekend. Number 10, report of see. I will try to do it fast for what's our Veteran Center. This is the last item, which one of the composers. I'm happy to say that the generator is now installed for what is the land use bylaw and the municipal planning strategy. And we will talk about it later on a further item this evening. For our active transport plan, all our sessions, public sessions, are completed, and the final plan will be terminated between here and the end of this month. It is now it is advancing well. The first Clam Festival was a big success. In June, from the 8th to the 14th, we have more than 500 people participating, and it was a great event. There was a nice participation of the private sector with innovative fishery products with their plant. We have a tour of their installations, and over 300 people participated. And Mark Blinn confirmed that he wanted to be a partner again next year for the festival. There's also some restaurants who participated by presenting clam specials during this week. There was to encourage them to go to restaurants, but also to submit a clam contest to see who made the best clams. there's a lot of interest in this competition, and Nalbero show won for the best bottled clam in Clare. Our clam dickling tour attracted 40 participants, including visitors from New Brunswick, Quebec, Ontario, Alberta, and British Columbia. There again, there was good competition. The competition to dig the clams attracted 35 people. This was mostly people from here, local people. There was a community planned by Joseph Marie Dugas. And also there was a big success. There was more than 200 participants during the evening. There was the vendors for the farmers market were there also, and there was music animated by Vicky DeVoe. The hunt for the golden clam was also a success, and it was organized by our recreation department. Essentially, it was during the whole festival there were clams that were hidden that had to be found, and it was quite popular. And also the Scotian Shores had a beach cleanup in Metegan Centre, and there again there was a great participation by people from Clare. There was more than 1,200 pounds of trash that was gathered there. And finally, just for information, in the Courier there's an article that was written about the success of this clam festival. So it's the first thing we offered this, and we learned a lot during this first year, and things will do a bit different next year, but I think the festival is well anchored for the future. It was a real success and well accepted by the public. Congratulations to all the staff who worked on the organization of this, and also it was a partnership with the Acadian, with Francophone communities, and which is our equipment storage building. The work is advancing, the installation is complete, the painting is also complete, and we have passed our past the last inspection with Nova Scotia Power today. So what's left to do now is a bit of landscaping, the heat pump and shelving. This will also be done between now and next week, and then we can hook up the power and use it. Our bathrooms at Joseph Dugas in Bellevos Cove. The building is most of the work is done. The building is available for the public. The only thing missing now is the railing for the upward ramp, and I've been told that it would be installed next week. There was a few challenges with two of our door openers, but this was fixed today, and there's also a little bit of cleaning to be done around the building of building material, which is very minor, but it will be done shortly. Also the Grand Fondo Besset Mari, our staff is working on it to prepare the event in September. Up to now we have 254 people who have registered. Amongst these participants there are 31% or 79 that come from outside of the province. We have distributed a lot of promotional material in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, and because of the financing we got from the province of 8,000 from tourism, and also 15 from another program in Nova Scotia, 15,000. We're developing other promotional materials, as well as lots of publicity on Facebook to promote everywhere in Canada and also in Quebec. So the work is ongoing now for this year.
For the public housing, we have 12 houses. We plan to have 16 by the end of the year, but now there are 12. And of these 12, there are 10 who already have residents. The other 2 have somebody coming in. So it is going well there. The other 2 units are being constructed in concessions. If you go on the site, the installation will be in July. Talking with the developer today, when he arrives at 16, it's like a horseshoe. So when the 16 are in place, it starts at the first curve and then they will start doing the landscaping. So the the trucks are coming in to do the work, and once that section is done, the landscaping will follow. There is no new development in Meteghan. There is only one house on the site, and there is already somebody there for it. Apart from that, we plan to have 4 more by the end of the year, and we are actively working on that. When they finish in Little Brookdale, we'll go there. But for the finances, it's early in the year, but as of May 31st, the municipality recorded $11,996,737 in revenues versus $2,508,930 in expenses, for a surplus of $9,487,807. As of May 31st, 26, the municipality had a balance in its operating fund of $3,052,379, and its capital $766,085, and a total reserve of $3,255,521. So in financing, we are in really good shape. So that is my report. Thank you, Mr. Sear. Any questions or comments on the report? Councilor Cooper? It's not a question, it's mostly a comment on the Clam Festival, Festival de Coq. It is a good way of getting the private sector and everybody together. I participated in one event and it was really positive, and I hope it gives a good boost for the tourism season in the municipalities, for our residents as well as our visitors. So we hope that it goes well. Thank you, it was good. Any more questions or comments? We are at item 11, the committee reports. The EDIA committee, Councillor Comeau. Yes, thank you. We met on May 21st. It was the first meeting for the 3 new members of the committee. We had a presentation by Christiane Timat. Christiane is the coordinator of the local zone for the West for the handicapped program for support for the handicapped, and her presentation was really well. Her office is in Meteghan, across from the Stella Maris School for now. It was a really good presentation. We also discussed the advancement of the accessibility plan for the people with the visual handicaps, and we are working on the signages. We also discussed the legends to identifying the types of accessibility for all municipal programs and services for the festival and other things that go in the community to explain the programs that are taking place. So that's basically the meeting. The next meeting will be in August. Thank you for that. Any questions or comments? We are go to 11.2, Highway 101.
It's all yours.
The Highway 101 Task Force met on Monday, and it was very well attended. There was 20 members around the room, including MP Christy Archmont, MLAs Ryan Robichaud, Jill Balser, 3 CAOs, along with municipal representatives from Digby, Clare, and Yarmouth. In 2019, the stretch from Digby to Marshalltown was completed, and the remaining 22 kilometers from Marshalltown to Weymouth is the only section of the 101 highway that's not built to the 100 series of highway. And the cost to do this section is approximately $200 to $240 million, and it would take 4 or 5 years to begin construction. And they also said that they couldn't do this in 2 sections. They had to do it in one entire section when they started it. The good news that we did get is the problem where the middle crossroad is, where you go down to Digby Neck, and the other road coming out of Marshalltown, they're kind of offset. They've got $2 million, and they're going to straighten them up and try to put them across from each other, which will make, a lot better driving, a lot less accidents, is what they're hoping for anyway. And the next meeting is scheduled for September 2026, and it's going to be in the municipality of Clare.
Any questions or comments on this report? It's about that. It's a big update. It's nice to see everybody in place to keep the discussion going. We are at 11.3, the Doctor Recruitment Committee, Conseiller Cooper. Thank you. So the Committee of Recruitment met last Monday on June 22nd. At that meeting, the committee member elected the new president, and Eric Poitier was the vice president. The committee discussed the physiotherapist at the Clare Health Center. To put it in context, the Nova Scotia Health Authority had announced a position for the physiotherapist for over a year, and there were no candidates in a year, but with the recent provincial budget, the position was cut. And since the elimination of the position, the municipality was contacted by somebody who would like to come back and establish in the area. And at that point, the municipality will ask the province to reestablish the position, and it is ongoing. The Dr. Emma Leon closed her office, so the recruitment is in place to welcome another one or several doctors, and there is a committee put in place to have their positions in place. The healthcare professional recruitment, they have the community funds for 26-27. So with that funds, the people can have up to $25,000 to support initiatives to retain health professionals. The deadline is July 16th, and the municipality will present a request for this, and there will be an effort for recruitment through the promotional items and the visit of the campus and the promotion of residencies in the area. So that's about what the committee discussed at the Monday's meeting. Any questions or comments on her report? That's good. So we are up to item 12. Under new business, we have a motion to amend the land use bylaw and municipal planning strategy at first reading. Thank you, Mr. Warden. Just for some context, as you know, it is a dossier we have been working on for a while, and we had some public consultations in June. There was a good discussion. We had good comments, and there was a good turnout. It was nice to see that the people are involved. So following this session, there were still some changes or revisions that were proposed. The council was open to consider them, and I am happy to say now that we incorporated all the recommendations, and I would like to mention a few. If you allow, I will read them in English.
Strategy, we made two key revisions. The first was in policy 5.2.11, where we added a policy for variances, more specifically specifying what falls under a variance or what constitutes a variance. Again, in the municipal planning strategy, under section 1.5, public input. There was a comment made during the consultation on the 17th that the way that section was worded perhaps was not the most accurate or was slightly disingenuous. So we reworked the wording to basically to include the additional open houses and to better reflect the participant feedback that we had received during those sessions. In the land use bylaw, there were a total of 6 revisions that were done in no particular order. Section 5.5.11 and 5.7.11. These are the section that dealt with abutting requirements. So for sake of consistency, the abutting requirements for residential zone and and the mixed use zone are now consistent. So there's no additional setbacks required for industrial or rural zones. That was one comment that was made during the consultation. In section 3.4, just some wording there. This was brought up prior to this session, but there was reference to a sentence that said singular words can also be interpreted as plural. We felt that was a bit confusing and felt it was best. It added no real value to the document itself. If anything else, it confused how the document may be interpreted. So for the sake of clarity, we simply removed that section altogether. There was talk about the need to add an exemption for greenhouses. So that has been included in section 3.7.2. in the section where it outlines cases where no development permits are required. So the revised land use bylaw now states that no development permit is required for a standalone greenhouse, as long as that greenhouse is under 215 square feet, 215.2 square feet. Again, on the subject of square footage and development permits, in section 3.7.5, there was a lot of support at this session for increasing the total floor area of accessory buildings not requiring a development permit from the current 144 square feet to 215.2 square feet. So that is also included in the document. Basically, it's the way it's worded now is that accessory buildings, no development permits are required for accessory buildings that are standalone and not attached to any structure and that are under 215 square feet. And lastly, there was a comment that was made in terms of additional units being permitted. More specifically, I think the lady who raised the question or made the comment was referring to the possibility of having a basement unit within her home, but also having a garden suite that was detached from the home itself. The way the document was worded, it wasn't clear if that was allowed or not. Our director of public works had no issue with that particular scenario. So we simply clarified the language in section 4.15.1 to basically clearly articulate that particular usage is allowed. So that is essentially the changes that were made from the last public consultation to now based on the feedback that we've received. Again, I think these past 4 public consultation sessions have allowed us to make a lot of progress in terms of what the needs and wants are the public are, and I think we're at a point now where we've balanced those with those needs and those wants with what we believe the province will accept in terms of a land use bylaw and a municipal planning strategy that works for everyone. The province has regularly reminded us that we have exceeded their minimum standards in terms of public consultation, not only with the 4 sessions we've had, but I would also remind council that we've had online surveys, we've had 2 targeted stakeholder sessions focusing on private sector. We've had an open house at the beginning of this, and like I said, we've had one-on-one discussions, and I know council's been very active in terms of one-on-one discussions with their individual constituents. So in terms of consultations, I think we're at the point now where I'm comfortable as CAO recommending that we proceed to first reading this evening And as a reminder to both council and those who may be watching at home, the first reading is essentially the first step in launching the formal approval process. If council is in agreement to grant first reading to this bylaw and the land use strategy this evening, the next step from there would be to schedule a public hearing process where the public would once again have the opportunity to express offer their comments, or if need be, express their concerns with the bylaw. From there, council has the right to make further revisions to the bylaw, and then ultimately we would proceed to at some point to second reading. From there, after it passes second reading at council, the proposed bylaw is sent to the minister of to the province, the Minister of Municipal Affairs, where ultimately the decision to accept the bylaw and to pass it into law is ultimately made. So there is still a ways to go in terms of the formal approval process. Like I said earlier, I think in terms of consultation, I think we've done certainly more than we needed to, but I think we've done this process justice in having the extensive consultations that we've had. My recommendation at this point is to proceed to first reading, and which, like I mentioned, would essentially trigger launch the approval process. So that is my recommendation to council this evening.
Thank you for this, Mr. Seer. Are there any questions or comment on this item? If not, somebody ready to do the motion? Deputy Warden Potier, I propose that the Council of the Municipality of the District of Clare approve the first reading of the proposed amendments to the land use bylaw and the municipal planning strategy, and that these be read for the first time by title only. Proposed by Deputy Warden Potier, seconded by Conseiller Comeau. All those in favor? Motion carried. This brings us to 12.2, motion to accept the proposal of 1-ton trucks 4x4. Thank you. As part of our new capital budget for 26-27, we have included. We budget for the acquisition of a new truck and also a new plow and a new sand spreader to replace the equipment we now have. Council says that it was good to include this in our capital budget. Then we send out tenders, and we limit it to the two people, Clare Dodge and Beliveau Motors. We ask each of those to submission their tenders, and both of them have submitted their proposals. Their prices were quite competitive and were very close to one another. At the end of the day, the recommendation of the staff and myself, we accept the submission of Beliveau Motors for the acquisition of a tender truck at the price of $104,925.70 plus HST. As mentioned before, this is for the truck, the plow, and the sand spreader, not only for the truck. Also, both tenders or submissions respected all the terms and the specifications of the tender, and in this case, Beliveau was a bit less in this particular case, and that is why we chose them that is why we recommend them for the acquisition of this truck. So we need a motion to accept the submission of Beliveau Motors. Questions or comments on this item? No? Somebody ready to do the...
That the Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare accept the proposal from Beliveau Motors Limited for the 2026-27 ton truck 4x4 in the amount of $104,925.68 plus HST, and that these funds be taken from the municipality's capital reserve.
Proposal par Conseiller Hill,
Moved by Councillor Hill, seconded by Commissaire Cooper. All those in favor? Against? Motion carried. You- 12.3, a motion to accept a proposal for a side-by-side truck. This is for a request we received from the Clare Firefighters Association and the members across the municipality. It's for the purchase of a side system for a side-by-side that we purchased last year. It is something that will help to function with the side-by-side. It is not something that will be used very often, or we hope that it won't be used, but when you need it, it is something that is very useful. And last year, we saw that if we had this system, it would have helped a lot the tasks that the municipalities had. So that being said, it is my recommendation, and I spoke with Yvon Thibodeau from the fire services, and he agrees. And I think that Conseillère Como and Councillor DeVoe, who's not here tonight, who participate at the Clare Firefighters Association meetings where this was discussed, they both expressed their support to the request. So that being the case, it is my recommendation that we proceed with the purchase of the side-by-side CAMSO track. We have from Leonard C. Como here in the Comoville for $7,099. And we worked with the funds that were already budgeted for this in our budget for this year. Any questions on this? Councillor Como? I move that the Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare approve the request from the Clare Firefighter Association for the purchase of a CAMSO track system from Leonard C. Como Limited in the amount of $7,099 plus HST. Moved by Councillor Como, seconded by Conseillère Como. All those in favor? Against? Motion is approved. 12.4, a motion to write a letter of support to the Southwest ATV Association for access to the Seasonia Road. This is a request that we received from the Southwest ATV Association. We received others in the past. They are asking for a letter of support from the municipality to support their request to the provincial government to authorize access of the ATVs on certain roads in the municipality of Clare. And often it is for the ATVs that are on our rails to trails, so they can access certain roads to have access to gas stations or restaurants. But there is a direct benefit not only for the ATVs but also for the businesses in Clare who would see more people arriving at their business. And for tourism, we see it as a sector that is growing with tours of ATVs. So the council in the past decided to support the association with a letter. In this case, they are asking to support for the Rails to Trails trail to have access to the Seasonia Road from the Esso station on 9999 Highway 1 in Sonyville. So it is my recommendation, if you agree, that we send a letter to support the request from the Southwest ATV Association. Questions or comments on this? Anybody wish to make the council?
I move that the Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare write a letter to the Southwest Nova ATV Association in support of their request to the provincial government for road trail access along the Seasonia Road from the intersection of the C. Saunier Road and the rail bed trail at 44.2598 to minus 66.10234 to the SO station at 9999 Highway 1, Saunierville.
Moved by Councillor Hill, seconded by Councillor Como. All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried. 11.5, a motion to write a letter of support to the Southwest ATV Association for request for access to the Istashkoma Road. This is a very similar request to the one I just explained. The reasons are the same, and this is the Rails to Trail Trail from the Istashkoma Road to the Cuisine Robichaud in 9651 Highway 1 in Saunierville. The request is the same, to give access to the ATVs and to the restaurant and other services in the community. So we need the access to the Istashkoma Road. Any questions or comments?
Sinon, quelqu'un qui voudrait faire la motion?
Does anybody wish to make the motion? Councillor Como. I move that the Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare write a letter to the Southwest Nova ATV Association in support of their request to the provincial government for road trail access at the coordinates 44.228740 to minus 66.101852 to the Cuisine Robichaud at 9651 Highway 1, Saunierville. Moved by Councillor Como, seconded by Deputy Warden Pache. All those in favor? Against? Motion is carried. 12.6, a motion to approve a funding contribution for the CTH. The municipality is looking at the renovations for its sports center on campus here in Church Point. To do that, they need to hire professional services of architects, etc. The province, under the Department of Communities, Culture, Heritage and Tourism, they have the planning assistance program that helps to cover costs for this. Here, based on the submissions from the university, we look at the total cost for this program to bring forward the development of this project. That will be about $30,000. So what was proposed by the university is they will make a request to the province for $10,000. They will put $10,000, and they would ask the municipal council of Clare to contribute the other $10,000. Obviously, we know that the sports infrastructure at St. Anne's is used by the students, but also by the community. And I think that for $10,000, we can go forward with some modernization and renovations of the facilities. I think it is certainly a good investment, not only for the university, but for the whole community. So it is my recommendation, if you agree, that we go forward with a contribution of $10,000 as requested by the university. Any comments on this? If not, does anybody wish to make the motion? Councillor Cooper. I move that the Council for the Municipality of District of Clare approve a contribution of $10,000 to University Saton in support of its funding application to the Nova Scotia Department of Communities, Culture, Heritage and Tourism in its planning assistance program for the hiring of professional services required for the proposed redesign and renovation of its sports center. Moved by Councillor Cooper, seconded by Councillor Hill. All those in favor? Against? Motion 12.7, a motion to write a letter of support to the Sustainable Communities Challenge Fund at this is the same as the last request, but here they are not asking for money. They only want our support. The university is asking a fund from the Sustainable Communities Challenge from the Nova Scotia municipalities. This is to look at the renovations at the sports center or to complete a study to guide these efforts and to look at the renewable resources and greenhouse aspects. So these are key elements of this program. They are looking at everything that has to do with renewable energy and green and to reduce the climate. It is a good program. We are looking at this program that we succeeded with in the past, but we are looking at sending a one-page concept paper for a declaration of interest, which includes the big points of the project as it is proposed, to see if, in this case, if the NSFM is a good project or not. That stage was already done, and University St. Anne was invited to submit their proposition and a formal proposition, and from that they need a letter of support from the municipality. So again, I think it is a good project, and we want to support St. Anne's, who is a strategic partner here in the municipality. So it's my recommendation that we proceed with the letter of support.
Any questions or comments on this item? Councillor Como? I'm ready to do the motion. I move that the Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare writing a letter to Université St. Anne in support of its funding application to the Sustainable Communities and Challenge Fund for the hiring of professional services to undertake a design study for the Marcel Arcamo Sports Centre, a study which is required to advance high-impact energy conservation measures from concept to implementation readiness. Proposed by Councillor Como, seconded by Conseiller Como. All those in favour? Against? Motion carried. Motion to approve a community flag program request for Clare project. We have a request to float this flag. The specific dates that we're looking at would be from the July 17th to the 31st of July. It is something that we do normally every year. This year, I think the dates have been chosen to align with the Halifax Pride Week in Halifax, so it happened at the same time. So it's an activity that we have been supporting in the past years, and it's much appreciated by the community. And again, it is my recommendation that we proceed with the this letter to approve the request of this group. We'll need a motion to council to do this, but it's the recommendation of myself and the staff that we accept this request. Ask questions or comments on this item? Councillor Cooper. I move that Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare approve the request to fly the pride flag on the municipality's community flagpole from July 17, 2026 to July 31st, 2026, inclusively proposed by Councillor Cooper, seconded by Councillor Hill. Motion carried. So this finishes our motion for this evening, which is the closed session number 13. We have one item, which is contractual negotiations. This being said, the date for the next regular meeting would be July 22nd, 2026 at 7 o'clock. We need a motion to go. Reported by Councillor Como, seconded by Deputy Warden Potier. Motion carried. Good evening. Non, ça c'était pas si pire aujourd'hui.